Hola mis amores, this is Kirby Marie here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And yes, oh my god, we're finally here. Shin Hayarigami 3. I really cannot contain my excitement in this moment. But yeah, welcome to Shin Hayarigami 3. First of all, it's very good to see you all again. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're having a lovely day, afternoon, or night, depending on your time zone. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for taking this moment of your time and watching today's video. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. If you guys enjoy this type of content, be sure to drop the like button. It really helps out a lot. If you're not subscribed to the channel, would appreciate it if you do. Also leave your comments and your thoughts on this video or anything in general. And yeah, we're finally here again with Shin Hayarigami 3. We had just finished Shin Hayarigami 2. It was one heck of an adventure in the final episode. But yeah, we're here with Shin Hayarigami 3. Till this day, there hasn't been an actual English playthrough of Shin Hayarigami 3. There has been a bit of Shin Hayarigami 2, but it wasn't even completed either. But yeah, we're here. And before we begin the game, I do want to start off by briefly giving you the story of what Shin Hayarigami has been about before starting this one, just so you guys can get a bit of a context of what exactly is Shin Hayarigami and what's been going on. So if you guys have not watched Shin Hayarigami 1 and 2 and don't want to get spoiled, because I'm probably going to talk about every single thing, the biggest spoil of all, go ahead, there's a link in the description. You can check out Shin Hayarigami 1 and Shin Hayarigami 2. And yeah, that's what I can say about that. So yeah, we're gonna explain about Shin Hayarigami's the story, and then we'll jump right into the gameplay. It's gonna be a long explanation, by the way. I don't know how long it's gonna be, so I apologize in advance if the explanation is a bit long, because I'm pretty sure you don't want to hear the explanation. You just want me to play the game. But I'm doing this so that people who want to know the story just know the story, alright? So yeah, thank you for being patient, and let's go with the story of the explanation. The story about Shin Hayarigami starts with the first Shin Hayarigami game, where it begins with a man being tied up and about to be murdered by a mysterious figure, and you can basically tell what happens after. Then we jump to a man standing in the middle of a court trial. This man is Sojiro Sekimoto, a folklorist professor at the University of Tokyo who's currently being accused of murdering one of his students. In the middle of the trial, Sekimoto begins to talk about a different murder case happening in a small village in S Prefecture, and he has information regarding the case. Because of his testimony, he was temporarily let go through a deal by an unknown party and helped the officers involved in this current case. The officers that escort him are protagonists whose default name is Saki Hojo, as you know, Marie, and her partner Hayato Kasamori, and their boss Kunio Kuroda. And they're all part of a smaller department known as the Special Law Enforcement Unit, SLEU, a department where they verify evidence, support investigation, manage past cases, analyze current cases, and preserve evidence from unsolved cases. Once arriving to the station and escort Sekimoto to his cell, they begin to question him about what he knew. So, the current case that they are trying to solve is that a man named Kotaro Tamura was found dead in the village with his eyes gouged out, teeth removed, and completely naked. At the time, the team was having a hard time identifying him until our protagonist's friend, Misuzu Tachibana, who works for the CSI, helped them in identifying the victim. Getting back to Sekimoto, he begins to tell them about the urban legend called Blind Man, a fictional character who gouges victims' eyes out with scissors and takes out their tongues, leaving a note next to the victim who finds it saying, "Give me your eyes." Of course, no one believed his testimony, but they still took it serious when he mentioned the possibility of a new victim. But before proceeding, they get a call from the 1st Investigative Division to question people who knew the victim. They first began interviewing Haruka Minase, who was physically abused by Tamura. Then we have the Tsunahori family, who had financial problems with Tamura. And the last one, Sanae Makimura, who came in representation of her boss, the chief director from the caring facility. But during the last questioning with Sanae Makimura, our protagonist and Kasamori learned that her boss unalived himself in order to keep the facility going for a while longer, at least according to what she said. But despite the questionings, they still had no clues about who the culprit might be. And then later on, new victims begin to pile up. The second new victim being an old woman who was wandering the streets with no eyes and no tongue. And when she falls into the protagonist's arms, our protagonist finds a note inside her mouth. A note saying, "Give me your eyes," meaning that our protagonist was the next target. Once again, our protagonist meets up with Sekimoto and talks about the new incident. That's when then we learn through Sekimoto that every single incident involving the blind man was done by him. What do I mean by this? He explains to our character that he and his students were conducting an experiment by creating a fake urban legend, blind man, but the whole thing escalated with the current incident. Then, Sekimoto tells our protagonist to look for one of his students named Takenaka, who was also part of the experiment. But of course, when her and Kasamori arrive to his home, they find him and his family dead. And it turns out that they've been dead longer than the other victims, meaning that they were the first victims of the blind man. And of course, once again, the team find themselves in another dead end, and they still have no idea who Blind Man is. That is until our protagonist notices a figure in the crime scene photos of the recent victims, a man named Hiromu Kanaya, who is a rich snob who likes to blackmail people and apparently has a close relationship with Haruka Minase. Once our protagonist and Kasamori visit the man in question and ask him about his involvement in the crime scenes, apparently he mentions that he wanted to be some kind of novelist, but it feels like there was some kind of lie hidden in all of that. But unfortunately, they don't get the time to know more about the whole thing because Kanaya begins to feel ill and he needed to get some medication, shutting out the detectives. Of course, our protagonist was still suspicious of Kanaya and decided to do a stakeout at his home till one night they hear him yell with insanity. And when our protagonist and Kasamori find him, however, he's in an unrecognizable state like a crazed cannibal, and they discover that he murdered his entire family. Kanaya escapes their grasp, and with the help of the 1st Investigative Division, they try to locate Kanaya. Of course, Kasamori has had enough with the 1st Investigative Division trying to take out their credit, trying to take out all the hard work that they keep on doing and pushing them aside. And he convinces our protagonist to take matters into their own hands and to try to find Kasamori. Of course, things take a turn for the worse when Kasamori dies at the hands of Kanaya. Our protagonist is shattered into pieces as watching the whole scene unfold in front of her. And of course, she returns feeling completely depressed over the loss of her partner. And of course, our protagonist is convinced that Hiromu Kanaya is Blind Man, but Sekimoto on the other hand believes that he's not Blind Man. And in order to confirm things, our protagonist decides to try her best to be strong for Kasamori and once again return to the investigation by starting questioning Haruka Minase. And once again, when we question her, it is through her that we learn how everything started, the whole situation. Haruka tells our protagonist how she worked at a nightclub and Kanaya was one of her customers. Kanaya had made advances to Haruka, but she refused, and at the time she had lost her phone, and it was at the same time when the first victim, Kotaro Tamura, was calling her a lot, which implies that Kanaya might have murdered Tamura. After that, our protagonist confronts the crazed Kanaya, and he indeed confesses that he killed Tamura, but not the old lady nor Takenaka, that it was Blind Man. And that it was Blind Men themselves who had given Kanaya the medications. But when the team asked him who exactly is Blind Man, of course, Kanaya refused and decided to unalive himself instead by biting off his tongue and drinking his own blood, dying in the process. And once again, the crew found themselves in another dead end. Then, we have another conversation with Misuzu Tachibana from the CSI, and she mentions about the medication that Kanaya was taking. Apparently Kanaya was taking a dietary medication in order to lose weight, but the heavy side effects include very, very intense side effects that, as you can see in the game, it really drove him to insanity. But as if that wasn't enough, the higher-ups made a sudden decision of sending Sekimoto back to Tokyo, which meant that he no longer could help them with the case. And of course, with no way of getting Sekimoto to stay, both the protagonist and Kuroda escort Sekimoto back to Tokyo with another officer. But on the way there, they find a strange figure in the road, and it turns out that it was a now dead Haruka Minase. But as they're trying to help her out, the officer who was with Sekimoto in the car by himself gets killed by Blind Man and the car starts driving on its own. Kuroda jumps in to save Sekimoto, but he's not there, and the car drives off into a cliff, killing Kuroda in the process, and only our protagonist remains alive. And then suddenly, our protagonist gets tased by a mysterious figure, and when she takes a closer look at the figure, it turns out to be Sojiro Sekimoto, who was standing with another figure. Then, our protagonist wakes up all alone in an abandoned house, and when she explores her surrounding, the house is completely filled from top to bottom with blood everywhere and body parts. And finally, Blind Man is revealed, or more like Blind Woman, which turns out to be Sanae Makimura. That's right, she was the one who committed all of the crimes. It all started when she dated Takenaka and how he began to have weird obsessions about blind men and in the process abused Sanae, which led her to murder him and his entire family. But she had left the house completely filled with their blood and someone discovered her, and that person unfortunately was Hiromu Kanaya, who blackmailed her and then also began to abuse her, leading her to give Kanaya the diet pills, self-destructing himself. But then she realized that she felt completely empty and realized that she actually liked killing, and specifically killing for pleasure, and she also wanted to continue to kill to impress Sojiro Sekimoto. After performing one final Lyozard, Sekimoto walks in and joins Sanae, and this looks like the end for our protagonist. That is, until Sekimoto does a 180 and kills Sanae, owing up the responsibility of the monster he had created. He also had confessed our protagonist that he had killed his student because he was like Sanae Makimura, who wanted to become blind man as well and wanted to murder people. That's why he tried to take responsibility with his own hands. After those events, the higher-ups decided to cover up everything about the incident, including putting some kind of gag order to our protagonist so that she wouldn't say anything about the entire incident. And as for Sekimoto, unfortunately, he was still going to be in prison, but he feels content that he fulfilled his own deed. Damn, what a very depressing ending. But wait, Kuroda? Yes, that's right, everyone. Kuroda is actually alive, and it turns out that he's working for some kind of organization, and this whole incident was an experiment. Through this extra scene, we learn from Kuroda that he has plans for our protagonist and a new experiment to conduct in a new prefecture, and that's when Shin Hayarigami 2 comes. 2 years after the events of the first game, our protagonist is suddenly transferred to a new prefecture, G Prefecture, to work once again as a detective. She gets partnered up with new character SENA Eisen, who's a punk detective. Much like our protagonist, SENA is also being kept watch by the organization Kuroda is part of. This has to do with how he lost his mentor, Hibiki Goda, who was a detective as well and was murdered by the urban legend figure, the Headless Rider. Since then, SENA himself has been investigating urban legends which has caught the attention of the organization. Everything starts with the two of them investigating the lady in the trenchcoat's case, where a tall woman in a trenchcoat is attacking people by imitating urban legends such as Hikiko, the man under the bench, the white thread, and Teki Teki. During the investigation of the first victim, our protagonist suddenly gets a call from none other than the chief director himself. Of course, our protagonist doesn't trust this chief director at first because nobody knows what he looks like. So, she decides to test him out by asking him if he knows anything about the blind man incident, which he does and proves it to her. And after that, they come to a discussion where the chief director promises the protagonist and SENA that he would promote them to a new department called TOKUSOU, in which they will be investigating specifically urban legend stuff. Of course, they don't know about the urban legends part until they've joined the TOKUSOU department, but that's exactly what TOKUSOU is. And so, after a little bit of investigation, they finally make it to the second incident of the scene, related to the urban legend of the man under the bench. After performing a acting scene in terms of romance, the lady in the trench coat shows up to them, and of course they try to capture her and arrest her, but she runs away like a cheetah, and unfortunately she escapes their grasp. But thankfully they manage to get a hair sample from under the bench, and when the two return to the headquarters, our protagonist meets up with two new characters, Assistant Inspector Shintaro Nimi and Inspector Masaomi Kokatsu, both elite detectives and graduates from the Tokyo University, and they're people who don't specifically believe in the occult. From what we had learned during the Shin Hayarigami 2, Detective Nimi had reported to the higher-ups to accuse a corrupt inspector. That was when he was working in Tokyo, but instead it led him into a lot of trouble, and having his father, one of the higher-ups over there in Tokyo, demote him to G Prefecture. And as for Inspector Kokatsu, he lost his family in an accident, but in this game it doesn't exactly elaborate on how it led to all of that incident. Anyways, as the protagonist and SENA discuss with him about their encounter with the lady in the trench coat, of course, they don't believe that anything supernatural is happening. But of course, Detective Nimi jokingly says that this may be the work of clones. And boy, how you hit the nail on the head. You'll see what I'm talking about. The next day, our protagonist and SENA head to G Prefectural Hospital, and it is until the visit with the fourth victim that they meet Eiichi Yasawa, who's the fourth victim's fiance, a son of the figure of the Diet and a part of Yakuza, who has a connection with this case. But they don't get to learn much due to getting a surprise visit from the lady in the trench coat, and when they try to confront her, she jumps from the 10th floor of the hospital, and for some reason she doesn't die, she just vanishes. So our protagonist, and this is how the story would go, meaning going through the occult path, and in that process they meet a strange blonde foreigner who nobody knows his name, they just only know him as the Blonde Prince, and he is a man who can enter the station whenever he pleases or be in investigations, crime scenes whenever he wants, but he's still a very mysterious figure, but of course also a suspicious one, and you'll see what I'm talking about later on. We meet up with a new character, Mitsuko Kisaragi, who is part of forensics, and so through her, she shows us the results of the hair analysis, and we learn the victim's identity, which is Toko Amemiya, and how she was abused by the man sent by Eiichi Yasawa himself. Of course, since we're investigating that case through the occult path, we meet up with Professor Kisaragi at her house, and she begins to tell us more about the supernatural and grudges, especially grudges coming from hair. So after our protagonist and SENA had learned everything they needed to learn throughout the occult and Toko Amemiya's background history, they decided to head back to the G Prefectural Hospital to confront Eiichi Yasawa, only to find him being cornered by two ladies in the trench coat. But, of course, they don't get to confront them because a sudden smoke bomb fills the room, and when they wake up, both Inspector Kokatsu and Detective Mimi are there. They say that Yasawa is safe, but that he has completely lost his mind and he's insane now, and also they have located the real Toko Amemiya. Of course, as they make their way there, something happens. It begins to rain heavily, and they lose track of Inspector Kokatsu and Detective Mimi since they went in separate cars, and they nearly crash off to a cliff, and the time strikes 4:44. But thankfully, they compose themselves again, and they begin to continue the journey. But once they get to the asylum hospital, they see that it's not a normal hospital, that it looks practically abandoned for some reason. But they still decide to explore the place, and they find a literal underground lab where they see all the clones of Toko Amemiya like as some kind of experiment, and throughout looking around they encounter the real Toko Amemiya, who unfortunately is extremely too far gone mentally, and they learn throughout all of that she was actually Eiichi Yasawa's stalker, and so they wanted to do everything they could to try to keep her away from Yasawa. But then, not a moment later, Yasawa himself shows up with his dogs to try to kill Toko Amemiya so that it could end his nightmare. But of course, Toko Amemiya isn't going down with a fight, and she begins to control the clones from the laboratory, and they begin to kill Yasawa's dogs one by one. And turns into chaos, as you can surmise in all of this. That's when, once again, the smoke bomb comes into the scene, the whole place is gassed up, and of course our protagonists are detained, and our main girl sees the blonde foreigner that she saw earlier, but this time he's with a little girl, and they speak in English saying about how they're going to solve the situation, and that if she can do it, and she says that yes, that she could fix this. And then our protagonist faints, and for some reason wakes up back to where they nearly crash in the car, with the time being 4:44 again. But when they try to come back, now there's a huge fence blocking them from going into the asylum. Of course, they try to find a way to get inside, but they never do. So unfortunately, completely defeated, they go back to the G Prefectural headquarters, and when they come back, they find a defeated Detective Mimi and Inspector Kokatsu as well. And of course, through them, we learn that apparently the Toko Amemiya had unalived herself, and that Eiichi Yasawa and his family had been completely killed in an unnatural way, as they say that they discovered a long strand of hair wrapped around the family's neck as if they unalived themselves, but with hair, meaning that the grudge of Toko Amemiya has come for them. Of course, this is how the case ends, and Inspector Kokatsu and Detective Mimi feel defeated, but they say that this is the order that was given to not continue with the case anymore, and so they drop it. Of course, our protagonist and SENA also have no other options but to drop it as well, because otherwise they would get in trouble. And then in the end, things end with our protagonist and SENA officially joining the department of TOKUSOU, and that's when the chief director specifically tells them that they were going to be focused on investigating urban legends. And that's how it ends with the first chapter. Of course, then we have the other remaining chapters. Of course, chapter 2 is about the girl who uses black magic and kills people by splitting them in half, like cutting them in half, literally perfectly cut. And then chapter 3 is about the dead idol. But of course, I'm not going to go much into those because they don't elaborate a lot in terms of what the actual story of Shin Hayarigami is. So we're going to skip those and we're going to jump to chapter 4, where it actually starts getting a bit to the point. So our protagonist and SENA go on a recreational trip to Shinjuku by the chief director's orders, and throughout the trip they meet up with a foreigner named James who isn't really a normal human. And through him, we learn that he's acquainted with the chief director and that he is like I think he was a CIA from America, and he's trying to stop an occult organization. And it turns out that this occult organization is the same organization that Kuroda Kunio is part of. And so James explains that this organization has chosen G Prefecture specifically as a testing ground to conduct experiments related with urban legends. And so basically saying that all of the first 3 cases, the lady in the trench coat, the half-half case, and the idol case, were all experiments conducted by this organization. And of course, he also says that the chief director is part of that organization, but the chief director is not evil himself, unlike Kunio Kuroda. The chief director is secretly trying to destroy this organization, and he's doing so with the guise of TOKUSOU, as you can tell. But of course, all of that is wasted in the end of that chapter when the blonde prince shows up with the little girl again. And in this case, we learn that this little girl is no ordinary girl, and she has the power to reverse time. So as you can probably surmise, what happened in chapter 1 is that they travel back to time. And so that's why they were able to put fences and stuff like that, because they knew what would happen, so they decided to prevent that from happening. So in this case, in chapter 4, it's the same. The little girl travels us back in time, and of course, our protagonists are startled, but they have no idea that they travel back in time. They think that it's a nightmare or something, but they find themselves confused. And unfortunately, that's how it ends in chapter 4 pretty much. But then it is in chapter 5 where everything is officially revealed with the girl who watches the stars. The whole thing begins with Inspector Koketsu and Detective Nimi bringing them the mysterious little girl who can travel back in time, but of course nobody knows that. And so they bring her there and they begin to talk about the current incident that has been happening, where multiple children have been unaliving themselves on full moon nights and they have no idea what is going on. But of course, after they leave the girl with us, the girl reveals that the children are unaliving themselves because of her name. And it turns out the girl's name is Lise. Of course, she wants them to give her the death penalty, but they obviously don't want to, and they want to believe that she's innocent. But of course, the girl gets angry, thinking that they're going to doom them all. So our protagonist and SENA decide to conduct the investigation without the chief director's permission, because the chief director hadn't even called them about this case or anything like that. So they decided to investigate on their own. And throughout the investigation, they meet up with a young boy with white hair and ring eyes, and his name is Yomi. And so Yomi begins to show them his own special abilities. He is a lot like Lise, but except that Yomi has the powers to read minds, and that's when throughout Yomi, the whole revelation of what exactly is going on, it is revealed. So apparently, there's an organization, which is the exact same thing that James had said, but it's more revealed here freshly. So there's an organization, and the organization's name is FOAF, which they don't have no idea what it stands for, though I believe that it stands for friend of a friend. But this organization, FOAF, has been secretly conducting experiments, specifically in G Prefecture, as they say, using it as a testing ground to conduct experiments with urban legends. And so the cases from the chapter 1, 2, and 3 are all experiments from that organization. And apparently the organization had conducted experiments where they created children of their own with special powers. So Yomi and Lise were both creations of the organization, and the organization was using Lise specifically to turn back time. So that's why they haven't even been able to get the grasp of the situation, because they've been using this little girl Lise to travel back in time and to prevent them from seceding from their own plans. that's when then, throughout all of this, we learn that the reason why Lisei actually wanted them to give her the death penalty is because she wanted to end herself, which sounds pretty sad. But of course, it's because the organization has been using her so much, and the horrible things that she's seeing herself only remain in her memories. Everybody forgets about them except for her. And so she's tired of life and she wants to end it. And apparently there's another child who is the main villain of that chapter named Luna, who has the power to mind control people, and she's the one who is despairing Lisei further into ending herself, because Luna was in love with the blonde prince, but the blonde prince would favor Lisei. But of course the blonde prince didn't have feelings for Lisei, he just used her for their own shenanigans. And so Luna wanted to do everything in her power to destroy Lisei, and so she started to act on her own, and she was the one causing the children to unalive themselves. And knowing all of this information, they decided to conduct a plan to try to stop Luna from preventing more children from dying. And of course, throughout all of this, we get this wholesome cutscene when Inspector Kokotsu and Detective Nimi breaking rules about the matters in G Prefecture need to be solved in G Prefecture, whatever. So they decided to get help from all the police officers from every prefecture to try to save the children. And we also get this cutscene with Lisei saying that the protagonist and SENA were going to die, and apparently it turns out that the girl had reversed time so many times trying to specifically save our protagonist and SENA because she loves them both so much. They were her first friends, and when she found out that they died, she kept reversing time trying to find a way for them to live. And of course, our protagonist reassures her that they were going to survive this time. And so they finally confront Luna, and it ends up with, unfortunately, the blonde prince killing Luna. But our protagonist decides to hug her through the middle of the flames that were surrounding Luna, because she also had pyrokinesis powers, if I recall. And so, to reassure her that not all adults are bad, that adults are caring and all of that. And so Luna then decides to push our character away because it was not her time of death, and Luna dies. After that, we hear one final cry from Luna, expressing how she's finally free from this hell. Then, not a moment later, the blonde prince approaches the protagonist and SENA, saying that they can never tell anyone else what happened in this place, though he has no doubts that no one would ever believe their story. This causes SENA to boil down in anger and approach the blonde prince, punching him straight in the face. However, to their surprise, the blonde prince doesn't hesitate, nor fights back. Instead, they find him at the brink of tears. That's when the blonde prince expresses that if he had met adults like the protagonist and SENA, that maybe his life would have been different. This right here implies that the blonde prince himself was also a child experiment, much like Yomi, Lisei, and Luna. Except he's probably one of the only child survivors who has ever made it into adulthood. And it's possible that he also has his own special abilities, though it is not fully explored in this game. So after those events, we learned that Yomi had been adopted by SENA as his little brother, and then Lisei was adopted by the chief director as his own daughter. And now SENA and our protagonist have this newfound resolve where they must find a way to defeat FOAF and prevent more incidents like those happening in G Prefecture. But of course, the chief director pretty much was thinking that they might need some extra help, and in the end, we get this cutscene where we learn that Detective Nimi and Inspector Kokotsu have joined TOKUSOU officially. And so yeah, that is pretty much everything that's been going on in terms of Shin Hayarigami. I'm so sorry that this had to be such a long ass intro, but you really needed to get the context of what was going on, because otherwise you would be confused. Anyways, thank you guys so much for hearing the entire explanation of Shin Hayarigami, and now we're officially going to start with Shin Hayarigami 3. I hope you all enjoy. By the way, before we begin, I did forget to say, just like in Shin Hayarigami 2, I also played this game for the purpose of translating the game and having it ready so I don't have to like read it in Japanese and take a long time in translating what it exactly says, so I can just read it in English easier, have it already edited. So I have my Word document here and I can read it up. So yeah, also, once again, our name is Natty Marie, because as you guys know, in Shin Hayarigami 1, I was able to put Kirby Marie because of the English translation, but in Japanese I cannot put the name Kirby. I had to change it to Natty now. So yeah, this is my name. Not my actual name, because my actual name would be a lot longer in katakana than this, so yeah. But anyways, that's what I wanted to get out of the way, and now let's just start with Shin Hayarigami. Let's get started. Ah, I'm so excited!
The Western Army wins. Apparently a German staff officer who came to Japan immediately replied, Soka, when you look at the battle's formations here at the Battle of Escahara. Well, as you know, the one who's actually won was the Eastern Army. It's Tokugawa Ieyasu,
which was mentioned in Shin Hayarigami too.
That's why Japanese officers told the Western Army that they lost. At first, the staff officers denied that possibility, but when they heard that Hideaki Kobayakawa and others had switched sides, they finally accepted. They say that strategy and politics are two different things.
Woman.
Well, there are stories that never actually happened, or that it was fabricated by a historical novelist. Whether you believe it or not, it's up to you. It's like Toshi Densetsu.
What? Okay. You got the tutorial, I'm gonna skip.
Speaking of Toshi Densetsu, have you heard this, dear customer? This is a story I heard from a friend of a friend.
Tomodachi no tomodachi!
Apparently there's a ghost in Escahara. Of course, I'm not saying that it was a fallen warrior or samurai or anything like that. It's just a common thing that they appear on old battlefield, but surprisingly it's actually the ghost of a soldier. Originally, there were many powder magazines around here from the former Imperial Japanese Army. From the Empire of Japan. It was close to Tokaido Road, so it was easily accessible, and there weren't that many residential areas, so it was ideal for storage.
His music.
An amusement park was built on the site. It's gone under because of poor management, and because of that there were ghosts of soldiers in the ruins of the amusement park. Like a broken radio, the cheerful music from the amusement parks comes intermittently. There are soldiers in the military uniform standing in the corner with a gun.
God, this reminds me of Death Mark during the cannon soldier case. That was really crazy.
Apparently, if you try to run away, it turns into a black shadow and chases after you. Even though it's an amusement park, there are spirits of soldiers. Don't you think it's a funny mismatch?
Woman.
Oh, I'm probably scaring you too much. Sorry, I just couldn't help but to keep talking to myself and say what I was thinking. We've arrived. Welcome to Escahara.
Woman.
Miss? Are you feeling alright? You're sweating. Want me to give you a back rub?
I don't think you want that. Yo, what? Ah! Woman. It's so hot. This mask's humid. I can't even breathe well. How the f are you alive? You like ghost stories, but you're such a coward. That was easy. Now then, tonight's sales are... Eh? Huh? Oh, that's me! It seems the withered pampa grass has revealed the ghost's true form. But this isn't what we expected. Huh? What? SENA! Oh my god, look at him! He's got a makeup! Yo, he looks so different!
Oh, how boring. I was really looking forward to seeing a real taxi ghost.
How are you guys? Ah, girl, she looks so cute! Oh my god, kawaii! Police, we are arresting you for robbery. What is that? Ah! Oh, she's pepper spraying us! My eyes! My eyes!
Ah! What the hell is this?
Oh, she's escaping! We fail, our mission failed, we'll get him next time! Look at- Yo, what? Hold on before I continue. Look at the new character designs, especially Sena. Sena really got a makeover. He looks so different, yo. Oh my god. They both look amazing. I feel like I want to cry. I'm so happy. Okay, let's focus back. The excitement is getting too much. Wait, the tear gas! She's running away! The suspect's...
Damn it! Where is she? She's gone!
This is bad. If this keeps up, she'll get away!
You're both being sloppy, Marie and Aizen.
Oh my god! Look at these two! Oh my god! They look so handsome, I can't lie! I'm so happy! Oh my god! Especially Nimi, he looks like he had a little bit of change too! Wow! Holy shit!
Shin.
Oh, the animation! I know there was a bit of an animation in the first, but now that I'm seeing it more clearly, it's like, wow! The animation looks amazing!
Right.
Wow, they actually added animations to the cutscenes. It looks like paper, you know, like how do I put this? Like those paper type of animations. It kind of looks like that, but more smoother, I would say.
In addition to being caught in the act of robbery under paragraphs 1 and 2, you're also being charged with obstruction of justice. Stop piling up unnecessary crimes and make up your mind.
Nimi!
Damn it! Don't just take the best parts! And you too, old man, Kokatsu! We didn't take anything. We just rolled in.
Oh my god, Kokatsu doesn't look that different, but Nimi, yeah, he looks more manly now. He doesn't look too effeminated like in the first, in Shin Hayarigami 2, excuse me. They look pretty awesome too. I'm so happy. Oh my god. And the music is so badass. It kind of fits with the setting a bit.
Masaumi's right. First of all, this was supposed to be a taxi robbery investigation, where we didn't need to be involved. This isn't just a robbery, it's an investigation into the taxi ghost. Don't you get it? Also, are you still referring to this team as I? You are really behaving yourself like that towards someone higher in rank than you.
Of course, Nimi has not changed yet.
You're just older! Just because you're older doesn't mean that you can respect someone!
Of course, their chit chat and all of this still hasn't changed. Oh my god, I'm just so excited. My Kokoro, I'm so happy.
And higher in rank!
Oh, I'm loving this already. Seriously, it's always like this. I could imagine ever since they joined, it's been like this. Man, our girl is such a shorty now, though.
Leave them be. I don't give a damn if they fight.
Oh, they actually have different styles too. I mean, well, I think Sena had one too, but I'm just so excited that I didn't notice too much of it. It's too much. It's too much. Oh my god.
Hey Marie. As you know, this place, Esgahara, was a famous battlefield. So in the summer, there's a constant stream of young people coming from all over the country to have a little fun. In the name of testing their courage, of course.
Oh, well, I suppose so.
When that happens, sometimes people come running to the police station saying like, "Ghost, help me." Of course, No police officer would believe such nonsense.
Normally, none wouldn't believe it.
At best, the daily report will say that a drunk person showed up and that's it. It's a very peaceful situation, but even this kind of shift is unpopular in some stations.
Even though it's peaceful?
A certain police box in Esgahara, anyone who works there dies young. I heard rumors like that so many times within the G Prefectural Police. Of course, the casual relationship to the ghost story of an ancient battlefield is unclear, but...
How unusual. What kind of wind caused the Inspector Koketsu to tell such a ghost story?
Nothing. I just remember it when I saw the stains on that woman's clothes.
Stains? Huh?
You can see it, can you? Around her shoulder.
What? Intro time! God, I'm so like a child at this point. Oh my god, this music sounds more fitting for the detective mysterious setting. And more modern too, I will say. Ooh. Ooh, creepy! Whoa, the animation is just... Our girl, Natty Marie, not Sakyo. SENA, he really got a makeover. Shintaro Nimi, welcome back. And Masaomi Kokatsu, welcome, welcome. Oh, and Kisaragi, she looks gorgeous too. Wow. Man, that looks so cool. Yeah, holy crap. Yeah, our girl is the shortest of all of them. The blonde prince, right. Sukina onna, ningyo. I can't read it. Ryomen sukuna, oh. Whoa, this is awesome. Holy crap, amazing. Shin Hayarigami Tori! Awesome intro! Ah, I'm so happy! Oh, and this is back. I got a trophy. Okay. Toshi Densetsu. Urban legends are monsters created by the human mind. Humans are imaginative creatures. Something may be lurking in the darkness. When you're in the shower, someone may be behind you. Oh my god, that's a terrible feeling. The stain may be the remains of something that was once a person. What many have imagined is met with sympathy. Therefore, wherever people gather, rumors are born, grown, and eventually become urban legends. But not just an urban legend. The French novelist Jules Verne, or Verne, I don't know how to say that, said these words. Whatever humans can imagine, they can say and make it happen. These words are both of hope and curse for humanity. If you can imagine it, it will surely become a reality someday. Not now, not in this place, but somewhere surely. A monster born from the human heart who is... Who is what? The high school girls! Oh, that looks... The art is beautiful already. Come on, choose quickly! Maybe I'll have barley tea? Coke makes me fat. Kidding! Oh, you startled me so much that I dropped my money! I'm sorry. Oh no, I got stuck under the vending machine. You have a ruler or something? I don't carry anything like that around. I'm not an elementary school kid. Now I lost 100 yen! I wish the crevice woman would show up at a time like this. Oh? The crevice woman? What's that? You don't know? I heard this from a friend of a friend who claims to have seen the crevice woman. She lived alone, but for some reason she felt like someone was watching her, even though she was just inside her room. At a point of being scared, like a stalker or something? But when she checked the closets and stuff, she didn't find anything in there. She even looked in the attic. That sounds about right. She looked into it thoroughly and saw nothing. And it wasn't like she was being videotaped or filmed, so she thought it was just all in her head. There's no way she'll be calm after that, right? Of course not. She still felt like she was being watched after a while. That sounds annoying. She wondered about the floor, but the floor was high up, so no one could possibly see her from outside. But when she looked under her bed... The stalker was there? No, not at all. There was no one under the bed. The girl was so relieved that she pulled herself out of the bed and was standing up when she finally sees it. The eyes of a woman staring her. She was between the back of a fridge and the wall. A crevice just a few centimeters. A woman's head was peeking out. Was that the one we saw during the intro? Oh, that's so creepy. Yeah. She couldn't possibly fit there. You know how in comedy anime, when a character gets crushed, they turn into paper? Her body is just as flat as that, and her bloodshot eyes were shining brightly. Just thinking about it makes me feel sick. Me too. It's scary for sure. It's already scary enough to have a stranger in your room, but a dang ghost that can fit through every crevice is scarier. I don't want to think about that, please. I want to be dead, but I don't want to go that far. You'll be fine. Just drink cider. No, that's horrible. Oh my god, the crevice woman. So that's the first one. Skinona. Uso, or lies. Sorry about that. It's something that is inevitable in our lives. Lies can sometimes drive people to despair and sometimes give them hope. People in their lives tell lies, small lies and big lies. Anyone who says they have never lied is lying to themselves. Lies can be both poison and medicine, like a spice. A few lies enhance the flavor of the dish called life, but if there are too many lies, it becomes painful to eat. Add a little flour to a colorless life. Add a bit of lie to a boring life. That's the right amount of lying. It's the right way to deal with lies. The story surely began with such a cute lie. Among the petty rumors that could only be lies, that was certainly mixed in. A close and powerful danger that could decide our fate. A bitter truth hidden within a sweet lie. I know it very well. Our office! It's just so weird because the art of the office is the same, but the characters are so different. And I can't get over how SENA looks different. This man is not SENA Aizen. Holy shit, looks so different. Police officers are said to be the dogs of the state, but it seems there are also hyenas who steal credit for other people's work. Music. Are you still holding a grudge about what happened last night? I guess we weren't thorough enough. The idea that hyenas always steal their prey is a preconceived notion. In reality, they hunt for themselves and sometimes their prey gets stolen. Instead of being so distracted by the occult, why don't you follow my example and update your knowledge a bit? Oh my god, this is already being disastrous. Huh? You're the one who should get yourself together! Like, you're still in the habit of calling our team I knew you would say something like that. I was aware of it beforehand. Don't think I'll keep making that same mistake, but I'm still growing too after all. I am just an elite who's been newly assigned to the Special Investigation Unit. Wait, you're still going with that
keep saying I. You misheard me.
No, I did not. Don't mess with that special elite senior hellish thing. It's morning and these two are arguing already. Ever since this department was made up of 4 people now, things like this happen almost every day. At first, the unit consisted of just 2 people. Myself, Sergeant Natty Marie, and ex-delinquent with the pompadour hair, Officer Sena Eisen. There they are, boys. And our new members are former elite Tokyo University graduates, Inspector Masaomi Kokatsu and Assistant Inspector Shintaro Nimi. 2 former members of the 1st Investigative Division who joined TOKUSOU. Okay, there's another tutorial. Even so, it seems like they're still turning a blind eye to the reality that is TOKUSOU. I think Nimi specifically. It's amusing that Detective Nimi, who denies the assumption, also believes himself to be a member of the Special Investigation Team, just like Sena. This isn't the Special Investigation Team that Sena had lied about. The real name of this is Special Customer Window, commonly known as TOKUSOU. This department does report directly with the Chief Director, and we're tasked with specializing in the investigation of mysterious incidents linked to the urban legends that occur frequently within the prefecture. In a sense, it's kind of a special unit, but by no means it's a typical department where elites from criminal affairs and the 1st Investigative Division get assigned. That is the truth.
Oh, they're fighting again this morning?
Oh, Masaomi! Please explain it to him too, Masaomi! However, not only Inspector Kokatsu and Detective Nimi were part of the 1st Investigative Division, but me and Sena as well. Detective Nimi in particular didn't want to face the reality of following the elite track. Holy shit, I can imagine his face went blank when the truth was told to him. And even after telling him the truth, he seems to insist that and believe that this is a special investigations unit.
Why don't we just get down to business? It depends on what's available today.
Actually, I need help in organizing these documents. There are still some things on the desk that we haven't filed yet. There is a mountain of documents from past incidents. Among them was a file listing of the members of the department. Now, which one should I start first? Oh, we got the files of our companions. Okay, let's start with Sena's. I pick up Sena's file. Sena Eisen, male, age 25, height 180 centimeters, weight 71 kilograms. His hobbies are driving, particularly his favorite car named Christine. I forgot about Christine. I'm still surprised about naming his car. He was the former leader of a motorcycle gang, but became a police officer because of his admiration for his mentor, who he called Old Man. Despite his appearance, he's incredibly knowledgeable about the occult. He is well versed in strange urban legends and ghost stories. On the other hand, he doesn't get along with Detective Nimi, who doesn't believe in the occult at all. He also seems to enjoy professional wrestling, and during his free time he develops new moves. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. He's not good with moves, right? I wonder if this is because he's a bit of a hard ass. But I think it might be for a different reason. Yeah, that's about it. I put Sena's file back into the shelf. Okay, Detective Nimi. I pick up Detective Nimi's file. Shintaro Nimi, male, age 32, height 166 centimeters, weight 57 kilograms, an elite who graduated from the University of Tokyo's Faculty Law at the top of his class. He's the most skilled detective in G Prefectural Police. Together with his partner, Inspector Kokatsu, he boasted an alarming arrest rate, but that's all in the past now. Since he moved to this department, arrests seems something of distant world for him now. He flatly denies urban legends and the occult. He's always getting into fights with Sena, whose hobby is the occult. He often tries to refer himself as I, perhaps due to his good upbringing. He has a habit of saying I, which often gets Sena to tease him. Yeah, that's about it. I put Detective Nimi's file back into the shelf. Inspector Kokatsu. Okay. I pick up Inspector Kokatsu's file. This music is so relaxing. Ooh. Masaomi Kokatsu, male, age 41, height 178 centimeters, weight 69 kilograms. A veteran detective who, alongside with Detective Mimi, boasted a high arrest in G Prefectural Police. Also a graduate from the Tokyo University. He's not flashy and he has a quiet personality, but he seems to have achieved results by using old-fashioned methods such as repeated, steady questioning and investigation. Excuse me. His skills are even acknowledged by Detective Mimi, who tends to look down on those around him, and the two often work together as a team. He's not the type to talk about himself, and his hobbies and past are shrouded in mystery. Yeah, that's about it. I put Inspector Koketsu's file back into the shelf. Oh, because this is a great opportunity, let's organize the contents of the file. Yeah, but we're doing this later. I always do this later. Please let me do it later. Because I wouldn't know what to put right now. Yeah, I know this but I'll do it later. I always like to do this later. But basically it's like the green keywords is what you fill in for each of the characters to, and this will determine if you get the good ending or bad ending in solving the case. That's it.
Oh, organizing files. Great work, boss!
What do you mean, boss? You helped too. I called out with little to no expectation as I slowly tore down the pile of papers. The next thing that came out was... the organization! FOAF file. There's a file related to the giant organization we're facing, FOAF. Oh, they already know. Yeah, I forgot. So, in the game, Detective Nimi and Inspector Koketsu already know about the organization. I'm guessing they told him behind the scenes, but they already know about this. not about the weird supernatural events. Of course, they're not gonna believe that, but they know about the organization and the weird shit that's been going on lately.
These people are using G Prefecture as a testing ground in order to weaponize anomalies. This mysterious giant organization that's causing these incidents. Honestly, I still can't believe they exist. It's true that they're not publicly acknowledged in terms of existence, but they're still out there. If you really think that, then you're a total idiot. What's the source of funding for such a huge evil organization? M funds? Tokugawa buried treasure? Who cares about that? All that matters is that the people who are involved are foreigners, so it's probably funded by overseas sources. If that's the case, why are they doing this in Japan? In G Prefecture? Why not do it overseas? Because there's also Japanese people involved aside from foreigners.
Yes, because I believe Kunio Kuroda is Japanese, so of course.
After all, it's an organization that seems to bring together high-ranking officials from the Japanese police and self-defense forces, as well as the US Department of Defenses. The people you've encountered so far have been foreigners. It's best to not make unilateral assumptions.
In the end, all we know is that it's a huge scale, but we still can't get the full picture of FOAF, let alone its tail. No, not even their shadows. The scale is so grand that the very existence of FOAF might be something of an urban legend. Even after actually encountering it, I still feel that way. But they certainly exist, and we have to wait for them to cause another strange incident. This is frustrating. I wish we could take the initiative.
Us police officers can basically only act after an incident has happened. If you want to prevent damage from happening, we could patrol the area. I'd do that if I could, but if we do it poorly, it could lead to a territorial dispute with the Hayabusa team and the loss of face.
Despite all the fuss, the hand on the clock continues to move slowly. That's what Tokusou's daily life is when there's no incident.
It's almost time to leave. Well, looks like another day without an incident.
There were no new cases. The whole day just ended with us reviewing the cases we had already solved in the past.
It's hard to get used to this closed business situation. No, I shouldn't even get used to it.
Detective Nimi looks at Sena with a sour look on his face. As for Sena, he just leans back into his chair, his arms hanging limply and looking up at the ceiling.
I'll never be that guy who just steals salary and wastes food. You're obviously saying that only to me. Stop targeting me. I'm gathering information too.
You only read occult magazines and browse occult sites on the internet.
It's the Cyber Patrol. Cyber Patrol! Wait, were you watching me?
Alright. At least we did something today. Let's rest for now and prepare for tomorrow. When I intervene, the two of them stop arguing and stand up. Everything is always like this. I wonder if they'll ever get along.
They do say that taking a break is part of the job. Oh, that's right, since we're going to take a break anyways.
SENA turns his gaze to me and makes a gesture with his thumbs and index finger on his right hand. It brings it up to his mouth.
What'd you say?
What does he mean by what you say? You're giving the vibe that you want to have drinks, but you're a lightweight.
Ah, he was doing this!
I remember doing the same thing before, letting him drink only the local Daiginjigo sake, but not drinking any myself. It was delicious though, so it's okay. Drinking alone with someone who doesn't drink is quite embarrassing and weird, especially with a woman, when a woman is getting drunk, even if it's just with SENA. However, even if I turn down the invitation, all I'll end up doing is eating convenience store food alone and drinking beer while watching TV and go to sleep. I'm getting invited out for drinks by a colleague who doesn't even drink alcohol. What should I do? We got choices. Oh yeah, we got a... Oh! Yeah, I noticed there are now 4 chapitas only, the thing on the corner. There were all... You know how in Shin Hayarigami 1 and 2 had a lot of chapitas that would give out like free candy? Yeah, this one there are even less. Only 4. Only 4. So, yeah. Wow. That's even less than I thought. But we do have to use a chapita specifically, because we got 3 options. Convenience store food alone, go out to drinks with SENA, invite Inspector Kokatsu and Detective Mimi. So we're gonna try this one. That would be great. While we're at it, we could also invite Inspector Kokatsu and Detective Mimi.
What? Are you serious?
Upon hearing my proposal, SENA makes an obvious sour face. Well, come to think of it, we hadn't really had a welcome party for the TOKUSOU team yet.
Aside from the old man Kokatsu, I don't think he needs to be welcome. Hey, I can hear you.
Well, Detective Mimi, what do you think? Would you like to deepen this friendship?
Pass, but hard.
Entonces, rejection right away. There's absolutely no hesitation, regrets, or any emotion. Just an immediate refusal. I see.
Just to be clear, I understand that we need to deepen our relationship to a certain extent in order to carry out work smoothly. But we're already booked for tonight.
I see. So, that's what it is. It doesn't seem like he's refusing just because he hates SENA's guts, but he also had plans already.
I made reservations at a high-end Chinese restaurant for 2 people, Masaomi and myself. High-end Chinese? Does that mean...
When SENA heard the name of the restaurant from Detective Mimi, he was shocked, almost as if saying, is this for real? Is it a famous restaurant?
Yeah, it's one of the best in G Prefecture. We could expand the reservation to 4 people at the same table, but that's probably out of reach for you on your salary. Oh, you! Huh? You did not just say that, exactly! Shin, leave it at that. Even if we're able to get additional seats, we've reserved a course meal. We might run out of ingredients and cause trouble for the chef. Yeah, that is true.
Before SENA continues to bark, Inspector Kokatsu steps in. It's true that if you let your guard down, they'll start a fight again.
Apologies, Marie. I appreciate the consideration.
Yeah, I just thought of it randomly. Maybe next time.
Sure.
Inspector Kokatsu is smiling! Huh. Are you angry, boy? Are you angry? Inspector Kokatsu and Detective Mimi leave the office first. Those two are always working together, eating meals together, and even go home together. Yeah, good grief. It's like they're lovers! No, to be precise, it's Detective Mimi's one-sided love. Just to be clear, it's not like a romantic love. It's more like a... I would say that their relationship is more like a father and son relationship. You'll see more what I'm talking about. He's been chasing after Inspector Kokotsu for a long time.
Oh dear, no social gathering. Well, that's fine. If he was there, the food would have tasted terrible.
Sena, you're saying unnecessary things again.
Alright, don't lecture me. So, shall we get going?
Yeah. I could have just gone home, but I felt like it would be too lonely to just sit there and eat convenience store food and beer. Alright, let's go out for drinks. You can drink non-alcoholic drinks, right, Sena? I decided to go out with Sena.
Sure, if it's non-alcoholic, I'll drink as much as I can. I'll take you to a good bar today.
In stark contrast to the boring working hours, Sena seems full of energy. Seriously, I wish he showed that energy during work hours.
Well then, let's get going!
Sena brings me to an izakaya. This place is lively but cozy, and when I see the shelves brimming with carefully selected local sakes, I was convinced that this was definitely a delicious restaurant. The shop owner standing across from the counter spots Sena and smiles.
Come on in! Is that a friend of yours? That's right, I brought a drunk Mr. Sena! The owner and Sena seem to know each other well. Wow, is this the pretty girl again? The one?
Excuse me? The shop owner makes a gesture by holding up his pinky finger.
No, that's not the case. We're colleagues.
Sena doesn't seem shaken and just sits down on an empty counter seat. What, does he have a... Is he... Oh yeah, there is a girl he likes, but it was from the DLC. I'll explain that later on. I find myself feeling a bit upset. It makes me realize that I'm not seeing as a woman. Sena! Bad boy!
Well, give us that meal. Right, that one.
While I was sitting down next to Sena, the order was already being taken care of without my permission.
Again, that never changes.
Apparently I have no right to decide.
This girl recently arrived to G Prefecture. I want her to eat the best meals in G Prefecture.
But I've already been here before.
What are you talking about? Compared to me, who was born and raised in G Prefecture, you're still a rookie.
I mean, that's true. The food continues to be prepared even while making comments about Sena's words and actions. When I see the ingredients being cooked... Huh? Is this being grilled?
Interesting, right?
What are we exactly eating? While I was surprised by this, the food was finished, and when we were seated at the counter... What's that?
Here you go, some Kiyomitsu steak.
Oh, Kiyomitsu steak? Lightly pickled Chinese cabbage and cucumbers that are mixed with soft-boiled eggs. It's toppled with a sprinkling of bonito flakes. The dry bonito flakes dance in the heat, and the rising aroma tickles my nose. Oh no, we're going back with the food theme!
This is the specialty dish of G Prefecture, pickled vegetable steaks. It is said that it originated from the thawing pickles that had gone bad or frozen during the winter by placing them over a heart. We're going back with the food thing. I thought they would tone down on that, but of course they did not. Not that it's bad, but it does sometimes get a little boring. It's delicious. Try it.
Needless to say, I pick up the chopsticks and slid them straight into the pickle steak. I'll enjoy this. I put the pickle steak into my mouth, and it has a soft texture. Along with the aroma of dry bonito flakes, the delicious flavor spreads throughout my mouth. The sweetness of the vegetables, the moisture of the eggs, and the saltiness that's unique to pickles. It may seem like a simple stir-fried vegetable dish covered in eggs, but the addition of saltiness of the pickles is an extra step of adding bonito stock that tails the flavor to a top-notch. Oishi.
Right? Now comes the sweetness of the rice, and since you're a heavy drinker...
When Sena signals the owner, he pours a drink. It's a 1 liter bottle of sake.
That's right. This is the famous sake from G Prefecture. The best way to enjoy G Prefecture ingredients is with the G Prefecture sake.
Sake is poured into a cup placed inside the masu. It easily breaks to the surface tension and spills over into the inside of the container. I'll enjoy this too. I take a sip of the sakes that's served to me in the so-called mokiri style. Delicious. All I could say were those words. It has a soft texture of natural unami and sweetness of rice. The aroma is also gentle and mild. It's not too overpowering. In that case, the pickle steak stand out as the main dish. The sweet sake makes the saltiness of the pickle stand out even more. Who would have thought that pickles would be the main focus? G Prefecture is truly formidable.
Oh, you're quite the heavy drinker, sis. How about another round? This one has a lot of flavor and has even won a competition. Hell yeah! Drink, drink, drink it all up!
In the end, I was so flattered by the owner, SENA, that I ended up drinking more than I should. Oh my... I think I'll be fine here. Thanks again, SENA.
Want me to walk you home?
What? The wolf wants to attack or something?
A tiger is a tiger, but why would a wolf attack a big, drunken tiger?
What? SENA, you always say the weirdest things. Don't worry, I'll be fine. I'm just going to stop by the convenience store to buy some breakfast and then head home.
Alright, then. See you tomorrow. I don't think it would be wise to leave her alone like this, especially if she's not going home yet.
Right.
Oh my god. That's a bad sign right there.
I part ways with SENA as he drops me halfway home. Today I had some good alcohol and some good food. I'll definitely remember that pickle steak. Oh, the tutorial. Or tutorial. Yeah, I understand. We're drunk on our ass. On the way back from the convenience store, the howling cold wind robs my body of the heat that had temporarily risen from the alcohol. As I thought, what a cold night. I realized that I was talking to myself and wasn't speaking clearly. Maybe I had too much to drink. I did drink more than usual. I need to get home and get some sleep. I try to go home, but despite myself, my body can't keep up. My two legs are wobbly and had lost their sense of balance, and I stagger around. When I try to take a step, I felt my head spinning. I let out a hiss-like sound, feeling like an impact of both of my knees and rough sensation on the palms of my hand. It seems like I tripped over something. We are kind of drunk on our ass. How dare you fall for no reason? As I get on all fours, a voice came out of nowhere.
Hey, are you alright? Can you stand?
Oh? What? I looked up and see a handsome man extending his hand towards me. Even in the backlight, I can see the whiteness of his teeth. He's smiling brightly. Oh my god! A new love for our protagonist? What?
Come.
For a moment I was stunned. A Buddha in hell, a handsome man on a dark street. There are gods who throw things away, and there are other gods who pick things up. I was drunk and my thoughts are not coherent, but still I grab his hand.
Alright. Huh?
He pulls me up and I stand again on 2 feet. I feel like I have evolved from an orangutan to a human.
Oh no. Your outfit got dirty. It was so beautiful.
Oh my god, excuse me? As he spoke, he brushes the dust off my elbows and knees. His movements were so natural that I didn't have time to speak. I had to at least say thank you. Thank you.
That's quite alright. Think you're able to make it home? Want me to give you a lift?
Excuse me? Oh my god, what? It's fine. My house is just around the corner. Things would get bad if I let this go further. I wave my hand back and forth politely, declining the offer. True, we don't know who this guy is. He could be a psychopath for all we know, but for now, he's the protagonist's handsome favorite, probably new lover. Oh my god, that would be so insane, because SENA already has a girl he likes for the DLC, and our girl may may date this guy? That would be like a miraculous ladybug type of situation where Marinette was dating the blue hair guy and Adrian was dating dating Kagami, I think was her name. I forgot her name, but whatever.
I understand. Well then, be careful. Don't drink too much and be careful.
The handsome man raises a hand and walks away briskly. Not only is he handsome, but he has a kind heart too. Is this the kind of prince on a white horse? A girl fell in love! A girl fell in love! Oh. Looks like there is. If this were a shoujo manga, I'd probably fall in love at first sight, but when we actually meet, our worlds are so different that I can't even think about it that way. I blankly watch as he gets smaller and smaller. I feel so bad for troubling this handsome man, but at the same time, I feel like something even better has happened tonight, and I'm sure I'll have good dreams now. Our new possible lover, oh my god. I'll go to bed before I forget this thrill. What? Huh? My elated heart was doused in the cold again. I heard a voice from behind me. A muffled, husky voice of a woman. I look back. Is anyone here? Uh-oh. What was that? There's only light and darkness. I look closely, but there's nothing there except the moths that ran into the light and burned themselves. It's an illusion, right? I'm falling over nothing and hearing things I really don't hear. I must be pretty drunk. Let's go home and get some sleep. At least this series of events helped me sober up, and I was able to walk straighter than before. I quickly head to my apartment. I'm home. I find myself saying this as I enter the house, even though there's no one here to answer me. After that strange voice I heard, I feel completely depressed, so I kicked over an empty beer and dove into the bed. I don't like changing clothes, removing my makeup, or taking a bath. I don't feel like changing clothes, removing my makeup, or taking a bath, excuse me. I'll just go to bed like this for today. I'll probably regret it tomorrow morning, but I just want to sleep. Ayasumi. I turn from face down to face up, covering myself on the sheets and get straight to sleeping. But then I keep hearing the same strange voice I heard earlier. Oh, is that the one the girls were talking about? Are we being stuck to the crevice? Oh, that's so creepy! The more I hear it, the more depressed I become. That guy's voice earlier was so beautiful I could have dreamt about it. I was so glad to be noticed as a woman by a handsome man, and it looked like I was going to have a good dream. The more I try to drown out that voice in my head, the more engraved it seems on my mind. Even though I wanted to sleep, I find myself wide awake. It's okay if I don't sleep. At least close your eyes and rest your body. Once the alcohol raises in my body temperature, I will officially drop after a while. Okay, 1 second, everyone. Come on. Just getting the next... Okay. The drop in my body temperature is just the right amount for inducing sleep, so if this happens, I should be able to fall asleep eventually. Intellectually, I understand that. What the f*** is that? I would be up right now, and I would be like, who's there? I'd probably leave my apartment and never come back. The voice continues to echo. In fact, I hear it nearby. There's no one else here, right? Oh, this is creepy! I gently open my eyes. Nope, there's no one here. I mean, I live alone and I'm the only owner of the keys. Oh no, that's a bad sign too. Huh? I locked the front door, right? I don't remember. I'm used to it, so I think it's fine. I think so, but at the same time, I'm not sure. I'm pretty drunk today. I might have forgotten to do things that I normally do. I'm reluctant to get up. I'm already in sleep mode, but once the seeds of anxiety have sprouted, they take a firm root into the mind. I have to check or I'll be scared to sleep. Okay, let's get up. I check the front door and make sure it's locked. Then I head back to bed again. I put strain into my upper body. Eso mismo dice, sorry. Ooh? What the I can't move. My body can't move a muscle. Even though I'm conscious, my body's unresponsive. Are we in sleep paralysis? Could this be sleep paralysis? My eyeballs. I can't move. How am I breathing? This isn't good. I knew it as soon as I realized it, but now I feel like I can't breathe. I move my lower jaw up and down, open my mouth wide and gasp for air. I would die of a heart attack if I get sleep paralysis one day. I would not be able to survive sleep paralysis. This is what they call the end of life breathing. Professor Kisaragi mentioned something about this before. Someone's watching, looking at me. Shit. Where are you? I frantically move my eyeballs. My eyes have grown accustomed to the darkness. I search for a suspicious person in the faint moonlight. They're not nearby. I can't move my head. So are they hiding in a blind spot? No, that's not possible because... From over there, I feel someone's gaze from as far as I can see. A stickly, strong, and fixed gaze like resentment. A gaze that pierces me and I'm unable to move. I feel like someone's looking at me. But when I follow the source of the area, there's no one there. There's only furniture here. There's no place to hide. It's painful. It's difficult. I can't move. The gaze hurts. It's too hard. I can't move. The feeling of hatred is palpable, excuse me. Why is this like this? Am I being punished for my sins? What the hell? Was that a nightmare? Is that a nightmare? Or are we actually getting stalked by the crevice woman? When I woke up, it was already morning. I concentrated on lifting my torso up. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why he's doing that, by the way, the text. I'm moving again. I don't seem to be suffering from sleep paralysis. My body moves the way I want to. I'm grateful for this. The first thing I did when I was able to move around freely was to check if there were any suspicious people in the house. Yep, the front door's locked. Even though I was drunk, I kept my cool and locked. Good job, me. I checked the closets, the wardrobe, the bathroom. I searched every place someone could hide, including under the bed. But there's nobody hiding here. This was a reassuring result, but it does raise the question of what was that gaze all about. Maybe it was just a dream. I deliberately say this, muttering myself to convince myself. Yeah, it was a dream. It was all a dream. The alarm on my smartphone rings, telling me to wake up. No matter what kind of abnormal situation occurs, everyday work doesn't wait. I pull myself together and prepare for work. What was that all about? That was so weird. Good morning.
You're late.
When I arrive at work, SENA was already there. I turn on the TV and watch the local news program. They say they're gathering local information, but is that really true? You're here early every morning. He may look like a punk, but SENA's always the first to arrive to work.
I'm not that fast, you know. It's just everyone else around me is slow.
SENA grumbles, looking at the empty desk of Inspector Kokatsu and Detective Nimi.
First of all, there's no fixed time for TOKUSOU.
This is something that can be said specifically about police officers in general, including detectives. Police officers' working schedules can be broadly divided into two types, daily work and shift work. People who work at the police station like hours work every day. Police boxes that are open 24 hours a day operate in shifts. They are called police boxes because the officers take turning watching. Basically, I go to work every day in the morning and leave work after 8 hours. Since I'm a civil servant, I'm supposed to have weekends and holidays off. In reality, we sometimes get called to have a stakeout at the area at night, like the day before yesterday when we were investigating the ghost taxi. Since it's overtime work, we are given an allowance, but we don't get the full amount. When a major incident happens, help is called from outside the 1st Investigative Division every day, and there's no budget large enough to pay them in full. Even the police can give what they don't have. Although everyone complains about their salaries, all things considered, I don't feel dissatisfied with it. I'm one of those. I'm fighting to protect something more important than money.
What's wrong? Just standing there blankly. You have dark circles under your eyes. Didn't get enough sleep?
While I was thinking deeply, Sena suddenly became concerned for me.
Huh? Oh, yeah, I guess so. I felt a bit paralyzed.
You mean sleep paralysis?
That's right! It was a terrible experience. That's right! Sena, do you know how to break free from sleep paralysis?
Despite his appearance, Sena is knowledgeable in the occult. I wonder if he knows about sleep paralysis too.
Oh, how to break from sleep paralysis. Well, it's not a supernatural thing. It can be explained medically.
He says it so lightly as if it's not a big deal. Even though it was such a scary experience, I would be scared too.
Medically speaking, it's called sleep paralysis. It's a state in which the mind remains awake while the body is asleep. It's not a disease. It happens sometimes even to healthy people. Irregular lifestyle, lack of sleep, and stress are what triggers sleep paralysis.
This applies to all police officers.
In last night's case, the first I can possibly think of is stress. I felt it on the way home. It must have been because I kept hearing the words, "I won't forgive you."
So, here's how to solve it. First, take deep breaths. Breathe slowly and deeply. Focus on the abdominal breathing. If you start panting and breathing shallowly, it cuts oxygen to your brain, which makes you panic even more.
I see.
When I think back to last night, I noticed that my breathing had become extremely shallow.
That's easy to say, but it's not as easy as you think.
The next step after that is to focus your consciousness on your body. Even if you're paralyzed, most of the time your fingertips, eyes, throat, etc. will still move.
Surely?
I could also breathe and move my eyes. I couldn't properly think at the time though, but I think I could move fingertips.
Focus your consciousness on those parts of your body that are moving and imagine gradually expanding the numbers of parts that you can move. Then, along with your consciousness, your body will awaken and you'll be able to break free from the paralysis.
Thanks. This is helpful.
Seriously, what you need is a partner who's knowledgeable in the occult.
Yeah, now you don't have to worry if you get sleep paralysis again.
Honestly, if possible, I don't want to go through sleep paralysis again.
Breaking news! A murder has occurred in a locked room in G City. The victim's name is Miwako Sumi, age 27. She used to be an office worker. She was found deceased in her apartment early this morning.
Ooh! A murder in a locked room in G City, G Prefecture. Sena and I both immediately turn our attentions to the TV. A photo of a beautiful woman who appears to be the victim is displayed on the screen with the captions, "Office lady murder in a locked room," running across it.
Sounds like a suspense drama.
Now that I think about it, the first investigative division was a bit hectic just now. This must be the reason.
With the information being leaked to the media, Chief Tanaka must be pulling his thin hair out.
Of course, a locked room murder sounds like a big deal. It would be impossible to cover something like that up no matter how hard you try. I bet he's losing it right now.
But still, a locked room murder.
As far as I can tell from the news, the office lady was locked in a room. She died in there, or rather was murdered in there.
What do you think, Sena? Do locked room murders actually exist?
It's common in mysteries that the rooms are never locked.
Right. In reality, what often happens is actually not a murder. It's death from illness, unaliving, or an accident.
Well, these days there have been a lot of lonely deaths. People don't feel well, but they don't call emergency services and they just die.
The problem with lonely deaths is that they are found days later.
People who die alone tend to be estranged from those around them, so their deaths are found days later. Damn. This means that several days later after death, someone will be confronted with the stained corpse lying on the futon of the floor. Just like what happened in the first case, in the first Shin Hayarigami game.
I heard that dying alone with a pet is worse. Not only because the pet is dying from lack of food, but then they end up eating their corpse.
Oh, why do you have to say that?
Apparently there was a Buddhist monk whose face had been eaten by his cat, leaving only his face as a skeleton, like a sadistic murderer.
I don't even want to imagine it.
As for pets, to be honest, I like to have one that suits me, but for various reasons I can't have one. The main drawback is unstable moving hours and the fact that I live in an apartment that doesn't allow pets. Maybe it would be a good idea to alleviate the loneliness with something like a virtually maintenance-free electronic pet or a succulent plant. Plants are better.
When you have pets, you often feel like you can't die until it dies.
Sena, have you ever even had a pet?
The cow! It's time for a tease! The phone rings, interrupting the conversation. It's the black telephone, different from cell phones. To the hidden TOKUSOU, a phone call comes in every once in a while. It's none other than the chief director. The tension that had been loosened slightly tightens. I pick up the receiver. Oh, the new facial for a girl with the phone.
Hi, TOKUSOU.
私
I had the intention of making a joke like, "Are you Mr. Me?" Of course, there's no harm, but this is our boss from the G Prefectural Police Headquarters. A high-ranking official in the G Prefectural Police who secretly operates a special unit called TOKUSOU that deals with the supernatural. It's still surprising that he never shows up in public and leaves the internal police meetings to his deputy chief. He's a mysterious figure who only ourselves, the members, have heard his voice. If that was all, you'd be led to think that he was actually a villain, the mastermind behind everything in this story.
Did you see the news about the lockroom murder?
Yeah, we're watching it right now. This incident.
That's right. It seems like a strange phenomenon's involved. I'd like you guys to investigate it.
I could hear his frightened voice over the phone. Even though the chief director has created a department that specializes in the supernatural occurrences, he's weak when it comes to ghost stories and scary tales.
Can you elaborate more on why we're getting involved with this?
What do you want me to say about it? Just thinking about it, it's going to make me not be able to sleep tonight.
Hey, I did not sleep tonight! The chief director's dignity is lost in an instant. If this person really was a villain, I think this right here would make him a great actor.
Well, if you're so afraid of strange events, why don't you leave this to someone else?
No! Then I'd be going against the wishes of my senpai! I'm not scared at all! I'll smash these monsters with my own body!
The volume of his voice suddenly increases. I instinctively put the receiver away and frown.
Is that so?
He nearly ruptured my eardrum. It could be my punishment for teasing the chief director for no reason.
Anyways, gather information from the 1st Investigative Division at 4 and 6, and begin the investigation to solve this case.
Got it.
Sena! When I hung up the phone and turned around, Sena was already getting ready to go out.
I literally heard everything. We're investigating the locked room murder of the office lady, right?
Yeah, this really is something of a suspense drama. Anyways, I'll contact Inspector Kokotsu and Detective Mimi and then we'll head to the scene first.
Whoa. This person must have been incredibly famous.
When we arrived at the murder scene, there was a crowd there. The police line had been posted in front of the apartment building with the police officers guarding it. Surrounding them were members of the press, also people who are just curious as they point their smartphones around the area. Occasionally we could hear the shudder of pictures being taken. With such a sensational reporting, all I can think was what we're going to go and see in there.
Well, let's have a look.
Whoa, wait, are we seriously going to cut through this? I'm not the kind of wise man who can part the sea and go ahead.
Sena, we can do this. Come on, please.
Well, I guess I have no other choice. Just stay close.
Sena sighs as if he's given up and then charges in. Breaking through the crowd of the onlookers, I follow behind like a remora.
Alright, move along! TOKUSOU is passing through!
As we make our way through the crowd and reach the press section, as soon as the media sees us, they recognize us as detectives and point the microphone towards Sena. What's the status of the investigation into the murder of Miwako Sumi?
That's what we're here to find out! If it's for the press, send it through your spokesperson!
We also wade through the waves of media coverage. Of course, they can't expect to get information from us. They want the full picture. It's a tough business in many ways. The sliding. That was a bit funny.
Finally, we got out.
The 1st Investigative Division. Here we go again.
As we approached the apartment, we spotted a familiar bald-headed man. It seems he noticed us and his face is visibly contorted. Chief Tanaka! I know he was so kind in the last episode, but I'm pretty sure he still hates us a bit.
You guys again? Why are you interfering with this case?
Chief of the 1st Investigative Division, Criminal Affairs Department of G Prefectural Police Headquarters, Ichiro Tanaka. An ordinary name with an extraordinary title. He's the boss of the 1st Investigative Division. The 1st Investigative Division has many intimidating-looking officers. On the contrary, he stands out just as an average old man, and is the typical type of person who likes to go with the flow.
The Chief Director has ordered us to investigate this.
Why this again? Such a problem. Look, this is a perfectly normal murder case. There's nothing for you guys to see here, okay?
Of course not. Why on earth would he assume this is a normal murder case? I held back the urge in saying those words.
Oh man, I wonder if it's okay if the Chief Director finds out that you're treating us this way. Who's the higher up here? The Section Chief or the Chief Director? I didn't mean to interfere with your investigation. I was just speaking in general terms. Yes, that's right! General terms!
After hearing Sena's threatening remarks, he immediately tried to shield himself. In a way, this timid personality may be good for the 1st Investigative Division, which is full of assertive people.
So, can you give us the details about the situation?
Well, aside from the fact that the room was completely locked, there are no signs of culprit nor a murder weapon, and the cause of death and means of the crime are both unknown. There's nothing suspicious about it at the moment. Anyways, I know this organization is controlled by the Chief Director, but this isn't it that requires you to get involved, alright? Well, from what it looks like, it does sound suspicious. And if that is suspicious, how can you be so sure that this was a murder and not an accident?
Sena says exactly what I'm thinking.
Well, if you've seen the scene and the corpse...
He mumbles those words out.
No, it's nothing.
He looks away, pursing and licking his lips. That's totally a lie.
There's something unusual about the corpse in the scene, right?
What do you mean?
Just take us to the damn scene! Are you really going to defy the Chief Director?
Alright! Though the corpse has already been sent for an autopsy, so it's not here, but you're free to look around the scene. Well, then I'll leave the rest up to you. Oh, and by the way, I don't take responsibility if you guys do something bad.
Chief Tanaka runs away, along with his irresponsible remarks. He gives us permission to investigate. There are many things I'd like to call him out for, but the investigation is our priority now.
According to the reports, the victim is Miwako Sumi, age 27, female. She worked as a receptionist at a well-known large company. The corpse has been sent for an autopsy, so that means it's at the forensic lab.
We're going to meet up with the witch. How depressing.
But first, let's investigate the scene.
Right. I wonder what kind of scene we'll be seeing. Oh!
Sena ends up speechless as soon as we enter the room. He's at a loss for words.
What the hell happened in this room?
I feel the same as well. There were signs of struggles all over the room. No, that's not it. It's just too weird in general. Window frames, ventilation fans, the space between the refrigerator and the wall, TV stands. Every crevice was sealed up with duct. Was she a victim of this ghost that is stalking us now? Oh no! As we stand around, I feel my feet touching the torn duct tape. The door to this room also seems to have duct tape.
This door too, huh?
That's right. Apparently it was blocked off when it was first discovered. The landlord, who was the one who found her, broke the duct tape and entered the room. I see. So this was definitely a locked room murder. No. Or a seal room murder?
It was an airtight space with all the crevices filled up until the body was discovered. If a criminal did this, how the hell did they get into the room? Were they there before the room was sealed off? If so, how did they get out after killing the victim? The room was completely sealed up with duct tape. Is it possible to read a letter without opening the envelope?
Sena, Do you know if any occult rituals that can only be performed by sealing rooms off like this?
No. Apologies for not living up to expectations. There are some Buddhist ceremonies where you just seal the entrance, but if you go as far as to cover it up with tape, it does make it seem more like a self-mummified monk.
Sena was deep in thought, but nothing seems to come in particular. So, a mummified monk intended to become a mummified monk in this room? That's so stupid.
I see. It might be possible.
The detective who heard my joke seems convinced for some reason. What the hell actually happened in this room? Anyways, there's certainly signs of a struggle. The only thing left to decide is whether the perpetrator put the tape on or if the victim did this to herself. And if so, for what purpose? To be honest, there's a lot of things that I don't understand. Gradually, it's beginning to make sense why the chief director ordered us to investigate this. This certainly seems like a scene that deviates from common sense.
Oh my god!
Again. It's that voice again, and we're not sleeping! Oh, I heard it last night on my way home. Then I was hearing the same voice in my apartment.
What's the matter? Did you figure out something?
Huh? Didn't you hear that voice just now?
Voice? No, nothing particular.
If Sena didn't hear it at all, did he not notice? No, maybe I'm just imagining things, and that woman's voice is in my head never existed. But after hearing that voice, I do feel like someone's watching me from somewhere. A stickly yet piercing gaze of hatred. Shit. I look around. There's nothing. First of all, this place is sealed up, so there should be no crevices where someone would hide. But still, why do I feel unsettled? I feel goosebumps all over my body, like a human animal instinct, like there's something telling me that there's danger here. But it's fine. Sena and the detectives from the 1st Investigative Division are here, so that at least eases up my anxiety. So I begin to search the interior of the room. There were signs of a fight, broken vase, a photo frame toppled to the floor, and recipes, books scattered everywhere. Huh? Hey, this person. I spot a familiar face in the photo frames. The guy we met last night! Wait a second, did he curse us or something? Oh no, that would be bad if he cursed us. Because he's with this girl. And then, what? Oh my god. The man in this photo, he appears to be close with this victim. I met this handsome man yesterday. The refreshing smile. The handsome man was smiling at me from within the photo frame. So he was the victim's boyfriend, so he wasn't single. Well, so much for that. Maybe he'll still become our lover next time. Now that he doesn't have a girlfriend anymore. We need to find that handsome man and hear his side of the story. But before that, we need to identify the victim's body. The forensic science laboratory where the body was sent. Oh, we're seeing Kisaragi. Come in. I've been waiting for you.
Oh, excuse me! Too much!
Excuse me, not the boobs either.
Kisaragi, girl!
The one who's welcoming me and Sena is none other than Mitsuko Kisaragi, the head of the Criminal Investigation Laboratory, G Prefectural Police Headquarters. In other words, she's the director of the forensic lab. She holds doctorates such as medicine, forensic science, pharmacology, science, and engineering. Yeah, I heard all of that. Her family's home is a famous shrine in G Prefecture. She's also well versed in the occult. What an incredible woman. Did you fall in love? Natty and Sena only come to visit me when there's an incident. Which one of you two will fill the void in my lonely heart? Moreover, according to her, she's into both men and women. I will admit she is a beautiful woman for someone who's in their late 30s. Again, an incredible woman. Sena.
Huh? Oh, give me a break!
Jokes aside, we should probably get started with the autopsy. Is she really joking? It's impossible to tell if this woman is lying. Her facial expression and behaviors are so consistent.
This is a very interesting corpse, so I decided to wait for you both to arrive. The detectives from the First Investigative Division are waiting impatiently in the autopsy room.
I see.
To be honest, I don't want to see an autopsy. Also, why she say this corpse is interesting? In relation to the supernatural, it's 100% certain that it's not an ordinary Buddha. Come on, let's go. After exchanging looks with SENA, we drag our feet and follow Professor Kisaragi. When we arrive at the autopsy room, we were greeted by the stern gazes of the detectives from the First Investigative Division. Sorry for making you wait! They repeatedly clanged their leather shoes and stomped their feet with a threatening manner, probably because they were upset that we made them wait for this autopsy. The one person even these strong men can't resist is the witch of the forensic lab, Professor Mitsuko Kisaragi.
Wow, scary.
A drop of sweat trickles down Sena's cheek as he's being stared at. Their staring gazes are so intense as those of the Organized Crime Division or the 4th Investigation Section. They don't bother me that much now. Because since last night I have been feeling much worse stern gaze. Yes, for sure!
So, how are you doing? Okay?
You're so impatient. Well, seeing is believing. First, take a look at this. Professor Kisaragi reaches for the autopsy table and moves the thick sheet, and what we see is...
Whoa!
Naked body! We gotta censor it now! God, now this is gonna require editing for sure. The moment I saw it, I felt like the temperature in the autopsy room had dropped a few degrees. Wait. That was the only word I managed to squeeze out. The hair on her entire body, including her head, eyebrows, even her pubic hair had turned pure white. Holy shit. Her mouth is wide open. It looks like she's screaming from the terrace if someone's come out. This is the most disturbing corpse I ever seen so far. Holy shit. Her large bloodshot eyes, even exposed to the light, the pupils no longer constrict. It's like she's not human. I hear a groan from one of the detectives of the First Investigative Division. Now it makes sense why the topic mummified monk came up at the crime scene. Some detectives seem convinced now. Oh. If it was just a case of unaliving or murder, it would not have ended up like this. Indeed, this certainly is a strange case. Quite a departure, compared to what she looked like before. She looks completely different from her old self. In the photo frame of the photos that have been published, she was beautiful. What on earth made her change like this? Is it even possible to do this artificially? Holy, such a disturbing corpse.
What the hell happened?
This is my job to find out. Now what happened to you? Please, tell us. As Professor Kisaragi puts on her rubber gloves, female assistants tuck her long hair into a cap. Next is the mask. The movements are perfectly synchronized. Oh, we're watching the autopsy pure right there. She has 3 assistants, all who are young women. This must be Professor Kisaragi's hobby. The orbicularis or his muscles are missing due to the lacerations. Peeling wound on the scalp. Check her toes.
Microscopic objects that appear to be hair roots and body tissue were found in the tips and nails grooves of the second fingers of both upper limbs.
Her eyes and mouth are wide open in fear, and she's clawing at her face. That's what it looks like. Collect any traces and send for analysis.
Got it.
What's her rectal temperature? Oh my god.
27 degrees. Ambient temperature 22 degrees.
Rigor mortis is almost settling in, and the cornea is slightly cloudy. The estimated time of death is around 12 hours ago, so very recently. Professor Kisaragi performs the autopsy with excellency. It's almost lunchtime now, which means the victim lost her life a day ago, right? This corpse definitely has something interesting to say. Nettie, there were signs of a struggle in the room, weren't they?
Yeah, vases and photo frames were broken and magazines and papers were scattered everywhere.
But there's no signs of a fight with this woman. All the injuries I see here are evidence of self-harming. Corpses are the last messages of the dead. They say the dead can speak, but they still leave messages. We who read it are the voices of the silent victims. Is it because of her profession? Professor Kisaragi is saying this with a serious tone.
That's not the kind of thing you'd normally hear from the professor.
Did you notice? I'm just repeating what my beloved senior told me.
Even through the mask, I could somehow tell that Professor Kisaragi was minded, but she's not wearing the mask!
Well then, if there's nothing else on the outside, let's check the inside next. Come on, show me everything you got.
She takes the scalpel from one of the assistants and runs it over the corpse chest without hesitation.
What will we find in here?
Professor Kisaragi shows off her brilliant movements, but then her arm suddenly stops. She's frowning, which is unusual for her. She must have found something. She puts down the scalpel and begins to explore the body's interior with her hands.
What's the matter, Professor?
Oh my, something interesting is inside this woman's stomach.
Saying that, the professor pulls her arm out and inside the corpse and pulls out. From inside the corpse and pulls out.
Ew! Hair! Massive hair, by the way!
Ugh!
Gross!
Sen and myself were trying to not throw up. Why is there so much hair in her stomach? Looking at the other detectives from the 1st Investigative Division were also holding handkerchiefs over their mouths. Even when they who seen gruesome scenes had a hard time with this one. This hair is black. Doesn't look black in the picture. If it were curled up, it could be trichophahia or a hair bizarre. Sorry if I can't read those right, but it's just mixing with the food. Ugh!
So what? Was she eating hair with her food?
Well, I have heard people who have conditions where if they stress out too much, they begin to unconsciously eat their own hair. I've heard about those things before, so it's possible. Is that?
No, normally you would notice this amount. If there was a tiny bit mixed in, you would notice.
If it was shorter, you could have eaten it without noticing. This amount is definitely noticeable.
I can't say for sure, but I can say with certainty that this hair isn't the cause of death. If she had died from suffocation or had been smeared with poison, there would be specific symptoms, but that's not the case. Still, it's unusual. Let's get this analyzed. Right, understood.
The autopsy continues for some time after that. Finally, Professor Kisaragi takes out her cap.
The autopsy is over. The cause of death for this woman was death from shock.
Death from shock? What on earth happened to this woman?
Was she so shocked that her hair turned white and her heart stopped? That's it? I have seen that happen too, where, I don't know, if it was in Family Guy specifically where they did that episode where Peter got so freaked out over something, I don't remember, but he had such a panic that his hair turned white. I guess stuff like that can happen in real life, I don't know. But at least I've seen it in Family Guy.
Death from shock doesn't necessarily mean dying from shock. It's when the blood pressure drops for some reason and her heart and lungs stop. Because there's no clear standards, it's easy to be misunderstood. Cardiogenic shock occurs during a myocardial infarction. Hypovolemia occurs when the blood pressure drops due to the massive bleeding, and it leads to death. Distributive shock occurs due to allergies. Of course, there have been cases like this where, as SENA said, someone has been shocked to death by a mental shock. For example, a long time ago, professional wrestling was on prime time. When it was being broadcast on television, some elderly people died of shock after seeing a bloody scene.
The blood in professional wrestling is gruesome, so of course it makes sense why an elderly person couldn't handle such a thing.
SENA, who's a fan of professional wrestling, likely had this in mind and not solemnly.
There was a case of an elderly man watching a horror movie in an Indian cinema and died of shock at the climax. And then the old man's body disappeared from the hospital, causing yet another commotion. Sounds like a fun Toshi Densetsu, doesn't it?
An urban legend.
Another concerning thing is the pure white hair. I've also confirmed that the ears and nose hair, which are hard to see on the surface, had also gone white. Holy f***! It doesn't seem like she's albino either.
Until yesterday, it was black.
The detective who let out a disturbed groan says so.
After making inquiries, we found out that the landlord, who was also the one who found her, had seen the victim returning home last night. The time was around 10 p.m. He said that the victim had black hair and brown eyes.
So that means her hair turned white in just one day.
By the way, Sena, have you heard of any occult stories about someone dying and getting their hair turned white overnight?
No, well, I think there's stories like that in ancient China, but I'm not too sure.
The ancient Chinese say 3,000 lengths of white hair is a metaphor, right?
I don't know that much. It's possible their hair did turn out white overnight, but I don't think I remember anyone dying like that.
There's a legend that when Marie Antoinette was sentenced to death during the French Revolution, her hair turned completely white overnight. But that's just a legend. It's hard to believe it. The rest is... Professor Kisaragi places her index finger on her cheek and thinks deeply, probably searching the database in her mind. There's a monster called Yamachihi. It sucks the breath of sleeping humans and kills them in one night. Wow, holy Then there are Western demons like succubi and incubi. They kill people by sucking out their vital energies, their life force. My hair seems like the result of having your life sucked out.
I see. Now that you mention it.
I've been called a succubus myself. To add to that, I've never heard any medical cases of death happening. Regardless of whether Professor Kisaragi is a succubus or not, her vast knowledge on both the occult and science is outstanding. If there were about 10 of these people, perhaps we would solve all of the Japan's strange cases. But for better or worse, there's only one Professor Kisaragi. We have to solve this case ourselves. Also, let me go and save. Let's start saving. Alright then, my lovelies, as much as I would like to continue this episode, I am going to be ending this one here. But thank you guys so much for watching the first episode of Shin Hayarigami 3. If you really did enjoy it, drop the like button, it really helps out a lot. If you're not subscribed to the channel, would appreciate if you do. Also leave your comments and your thoughts on this video or anything in general. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this episode of Shin Hayarigami. I love you all. Appreciate you, and we'll be seeing you on the next one. Bye.